Kia ora, good evening. The Bluff oyster season opened today with Southlanders lining up to get their hands on the delicacy. At Barnes's Oysters in Invercargill, more than a dozen people were waiting for the doors to open this afternoon. Manager Graham Wright says his fleet brought in around 30,000 oysters. He says it's lucky the weather held to get the boats out today, although the weather didn't look so good for the weekend. Oysters at the store are retailing for $23 a dozen, the same as last year. The oyster season is open until the end of August or until the quota is filled. Nearly a fifth of New Zealand's adult population face the very real spectre of living with diabetes, according to new Otago University research published in the New Zealand Medical Journal today. The data shows the prevalence of diabetes in New Zealand has increased over time. The number of people with pre-diabetes was 18.6% of the adult population. Researchers found diabetes was more frequent in men than in women and was also higher among the obese group compared with the normal weight group. Environment Southland is working on new policies to help improve water quality in the region. Councillors this week confirmed a series of milestones and timelines for Council's water management strategy. The goal has been set to lift water quality standards 10% by 2020. Initial work focused on reducing the impact of intensive farming, particularly dairying. Policy and Planning Manager Ken Swinney says plan changes are likely to be introduced this year around hill country use and development, nutrient management and winter practices, and these should have an impact.
Well, in some ways you could say they hold the line. In other words, we get no worse than we currently are and then we improve from there. So this is not going to happen overnight. This is change that's going to take quite some period of time as people change their behaviour, change their practices. New technology comes in that improves things, and in some instances there will be consents required which conditions will apply to. But overall there should be, we hope that there will be, an overall gradual improvement in water quality.
Now, there's also the goal of a 10% improvement in water quality by 2020. How well on track is Council to achieve that?
Well, that objective is in our current water plan. When that water plan was put out in 2000, that objective was there, and that's been an overall driving component right through the Council's business as we do it day by day. Now, you will find in some water, the State of the Environment report that we did on water shows that in some areas we are holding the line, in some areas we are improving, somewhere in the 5 to or beyond %, and in some areas that still need a lot of work. And so overall you could say we're probably doing okay, but there's a lot of work yet to do.
Is it going to be a challenge to meet that target?
Yeah, it will always be a challenge to meet that target. If we're going through land use intensification the way we are and looking at the government's new approach on national policy statement on freshwater, we are at a point where the council has to set limits within catchments for allocation and load limits, and the government has set a date for that where local government must get that organised by 2030. Now that's quite some time away, but that gives you an indication of how long the government even thinks this is going to take.
For the second consecutive year, SBS Bank has been named New Zealand's Financial Institution of the Year. The bank was up against 17 other banks and financial institutions at the 2012 Roy Morgan Customer Satisfaction Awards. SBS has 16 branches around New Zealand and has been registered as a bank since 2008, having previously operated as a building society. The award recognised the bank's customer service. SBS Chief Executive Ross Smith says he's thrilled with the win and to have beaten some of the banking world's big names.
Well, I think it's a great reflection of the sort of service that SBS provides right across the country. It's fantastic.
Now, this is the second year in a row as well. Is that a surprise?
Well, no, it shouldn't be a surprise because that's what we aim for every year, is to be the best in the business. And I mean, it's certainly a great honour and it's fantastic to win. So we're pretty pleased.
And in terms of the state of the economy at the moment, do you think that's making it for a tougher banking environment and having an impact on things like customer service?
Well, it certainly is, because customers are aware how competitive the market is and they're always looking for the best deal, and we try to give them a very competitive deal and provide the best service along with that.
What do you think it is that has actually won you this award?
Well, it's our people, there's no doubt about that, and we spend a lot of time making certain we attract the right sort of people and training and developing them and encouraging them to be the best in the business.
How are you going to celebrate this one?
Well, certainly everyone will be involved in some sort of celebration because it is a reflection of the effort that everyone on the staff has put in. So we haven't defined it exactly, but I'm sure we'll find something appropriate to celebrate with.
And stay with us after the break. Petrol prices come close to hitting record highs again. Welcome back. Petrol prices are at a 6-month high and sit just 2 cents below their record high. Petrol prices rose 11 cents a litre over late January and February, which equates to 5% over a fortnight. A litre of regular petrol is now around $2.21 a litre, while diesel is $1.55, 37 cents below its record high of 2008. AA Petrol Watch spokesman Mark Stockdale says at current commodity prices, AA expects retailers to make a price drop shortly. In 30 years, New Zealanders will be retiring at least 3 years later than we do now. That's according to a research paper by NZIER, which says working longer will be more attractive as an ageing population will drive up wages. It also says as life expectancy increases, people will want to save more. According to estimates, in 50 years, more than a quarter of the population will be 65 or over. Head of Public Good Research, senior economist Dr. Curtin Lees says the findings lend support to raising the superannuation eligibility age in the future. Preparations were underway today for the annual Southland A&P show. Thousands are expected at the show tomorrow, where town meets country at Donovan Park. The show is now in its 145th year and for the second year is being held at Donovan Park. Among activities tomorrow, livestock and equestrian competitions, food stalls, inflatables, crazy bikes, bucking broncos, bungee tramps and mini jeeps. Southland A&P Vice President Graham Calder says it'll be very much a traditional event.
There'll be the usual livestock displays. There is sheep. The sheep entries are up slightly on last year. There'll be dairy cattle, beef cattle, and the usual equestrian sections plus show jumping.
And for the little kids, there's a petting zoo?
Yes, there will be a petting zoo with different animals that the children will be able to handle and just make contact with. And it's an opportunity for town children to see what actually does go on out in the country.
What other events have you got planned?
There will be the entertainment for children, and as well there will be the grand parade at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, when all the prize winners will be parading.
What's the weather going to do, Graham?
Well, I hope the weather holds off. The weather forecast sounds as though it'll be reasonable tomorrow, I think. It'll certainly be a lot better than it was last year anyway.
And that's it from news. Stay with us. Coming up in sport, more from the New Zealand boxing champs. But we'll leave you now with the week that was. Good night.